Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Justin, and we are jumping right back into covering the new decks that are coming out with the BT11 format. This time, we're moving over into the blue, and I'm going to start things off with the UlforceVeedramon cards that came out in BT11, specifically with that nifty little loop that was created with this new Rina card. So, let's jump into that. Alright, we're going to start off with, of course, the babies, as always. We're on 4 copies of the new BT11 Veedramon. When attacking, once per turn, if you have a blue tamer in play, draw 1. And of course, that's the inheritable effect. Off to a good start. Alright, next up are going to be our rookies. So, I'm going to run 4 copies of the EX1 Veemon. With the inheritable effect on your turn, once per turn, when this Digimon becomes unsuspended during your main phase, gain 1 memory. Then 4 copies of the starter deck Veemon. On your turn, while your opponent has a level 6 or higher Digimon, you may Digivolve this Digimon into an UlforceVeedramon in your hand for a cost of 4, ignoring its requirements. And then the inheritable effect, when attacking, if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, trigger draw 1. This is just cards just being played so that you can kind of warp Digivolve into that Ulforce real fast if your opponent's outpacing you. And then we're running 4 copies of the new BT11 Veemon. On play, reveal 3 cards from the top of your deck. Add 1 card with Veedramon in its name and 1 blue tamer card from among them to your hand. Place the remaining at the bottom of your deck in any order. And then on your turn, inheritable effect. Once per turn, when you play a blue tamer, gain 1 memory. For the level 4s, surprisingly, not a lot of Veedramon stuff going on here. Surprisingly, a lot of the decks are running copies of the EX2 Leomon. So, this Leomon on your opponent's turn, while you have a tamer in play, this Digimon becomes a blocker. So I kind of get why they're playing it. Some of the decks do run Jerry as well in order to get Leomon out easier. Not every deck does. I think the Jerry does kind of overall slow down the whole Ulforce version, like the whole point of this deck. But keeping the Leomon in as a useful blocker is pretty good. And then on deletion, you gain 2 memory and draw 1. So it's actually a pretty useful card. And then we're also running 2 copies of Kumamon. You may Digivolve this card from your hand on top of one of your blue tamers. And then 1 Digivolving, trash 1 source from the bottom of your opponent's Digimon. Running a couple Kumamons, I found that quite common in these Ulforce decks. I think it's just nice to have that hybrid option. And then we're running 4 copies of the new BT11 Veedramon. On your turn, once per turn, when you play a blue tamer, draw 1. And then the inheritable, your turn, once per turn, when you play a blue tamer, gain 1 memory. You're starting to see a pattern here with the Veemon cards. It's all about playing tamers and gaining memory. And there's a good reason why you want to get your blue tamer on the field. Alright, moving into our level 5s, we've got 4 copies of the starter deck Arrow Veedramon. This Veedramon has jamming and then has the inheritable effect on your turn while you have 8 or more cards in your hand. This Digimon gains security attack +1. And then we're going to be running 4 copies of the new BT11 Arrow Veedramon. And it has a main effect once per turn. By suspending this Digimon, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add all blue tamer cards among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck in any order. An inheritable effect. When attacking, once per turn, activate 1 of your Rina Shinomiya's on-play effects. That is a very important inheritable effect there. You're going to want that when you're building up. Keep that effect in mind, because this is where it starts to pay off. We're running 2 copies of the UlforceVeedramon 0. While not the main level 6 of the deck, it is included in a lot of the UlforceVeedramon decks, and I think it's because there's a very nifty loop effect that happens with the new Rina tamer card. So the UlforceVeedramon 0, 1 Digivolving, you may place 3 non-Digi-Egg cards from your trash at the bottom of your deck in any order to unsuspend this Digimon and 1 of your tamers. Your turn, once per turn, when a card is returned from your trash to your deck, gain 1 memory. Now, while that effect, the gaining memory effect, is limited to once per turn, the when digivolving effect is not limited to once per turn. And I know that sounds weird, because you're like, duh, you only digivolve the one time. But we'll cover that here in a minute. To round out our level 6s, we are playing 4 copies of the new BT11 UlforceVeedramon. When digivolving, you may play 1 blue tamer card from your hand without paying its cost, and then on your turn, when you play a blue tamer, unsuspend this Digimon, and then on your turn, once per turn, when this Digimon becomes unsuspended, return one of your opponent's level 3 or lower Digimon to its owner's hand. Increase the maximum level of this effect by 1 for each blue tamer you have in play. So a lot of the cards digivolving up allow you to get tamers. This card lets you play a tamer for free, so the more tamers you have on the field, the stronger the effects of this UlforceVeedramon. And then to finish off our Digimon, we have 1 level 7 Omnimon. When digivolving, it has advance, and then when digivolving, you can unsuspend this Digimon. And all turns, if an opponent's effect would delete this Digimon or return it to its owner's hand or deck, you may prevent it by trashing a level 6 card in this card's source list. Alright, moving into the tamers. This is where it gets fun. Let's take care of the non-super cool, tricky ones. We got 2 copies of the V-Tamer tie. Main effect, if you have a Digimon that contains Veedramon in its name, by suspending this card, activate one of the following effects. Draw 1, or one of your Digimon gains 1000 DP till the end of your turn. We're also running 2 copies of Davis Shinomiya. This is a memory tamer, so if you have 2 or less memory, you set it to 3. And then on play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 blue and 1 green card from among them to your hand. Place the remaining at the bottom of your deck in any order. And we're running 2 copies of the original BT2 Rina. So your turn, if one of your blue Digimon attacks, suspend this card, and that Digimon gains 1000 DP until the end of this turn. And then on play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 Digimon whose name contains V to your hand from among them, and place the remaining at the bottom of your deck in any order. Those are just good blue tamers to have. Like I said, the more tamers you can get on the field, the stronger your Veedramon, your UlforceVeedramon. But we're here to talk about the new 4 copies Rina Shinomiya from BT11. So on play, one of your Digimon with Veemon or Veedramon in its name gains blocker and evade until the end of your opponent's turn. On all turns, when one of your Digimon with Veedramon in its name becomes suspended, you can suspend this tamer and then activate one of its when digivolving effects. And on your turn, once per turn, when one of your blue Digimon unsuspends, gain 1 memory. So, did you catch that? And then to round off this deck, we're going to go through our option cards. There's only 3, 2 copies of Blue Memory Boost, and 1 Ice Wall. Alright, so if you remember before, we have the Arrow Veedramon with the inheritable effect. You can activate one of Rina's on-play effects when attacking. And then you've got your UlforceVeedramon 0 with a when digivolving effect that lets you unsuspend it in a tamer. But that usually only works when you're digivolving. But because of Rina Shinomiya's effect, when you suspend your UlforceVeedramon, once it becomes suspended, Rina allows you to suspend Rina to activate one of your Ulforces or whatever Veedramon's one digivolving effect. So UlforceVeedramon 0's one digivolving effect lets you take 3 non-Digi-Egg cards from your trash, put them at the bottom of your deck to unsuspend the UlforceVeedramon and unsuspend a tamer. And since these effects are not once per turn, you can then attack with UlforceVeedramon again, suspend, activate when digivolving effect, unsuspend, unsuspend, loop, loop, loop until you run out of cards, non-Digi-Egg cards in your trash. So the more cards you have in your trash, the more effective this will be. And then having the Arrow Veedramon's inheritable effect, every time you activate that attack, you're able to activate Rina's on-play effect, which gives blocker and evade to your UlforceVeedramon until the end of your opponent's next turn. And so essentially you can reactivate that effect every turn just by attacking with UlforceVeedramon. And that is a cool, nifty little loop that these 2 cards, I mean, this is not necessary, but it's fun and it adds a little extra flair to it. But just having these 2 cards on the field gives you a non-stop attacking loop as long as you survive the security checks as long as you have cards in your trash to put back. The only way this would be better is if it was somehow a purple deck and, and you had all the drawing and trashing effects. Alright, and that was just the UlforceVeedramon Zero loop with Rina. Of course, as you notice, it wasn't the main feature of the deck. There was only 2 copies of the Zero versus the other Ulforce. So the main focus of the deck is just to build up into the regular UlforceVeedramon. Best way to do that, you got your Wanyamon. You could Digivolve into this Veemon with the inheritable effect, or you can Digivolve off of this Veemon. This one, ideally, you're going to play straight to the field to get the on-play effect. So either way, you'll Digivolve up into the Veedramon from BT11. That way, when you're playing your blue Tamers, you're gaining lots of memory. The Arrow Veedramon from BT11, so you have that nice ability to reactivate Rina's on-play effect, so you can keep your blocker and evade. And then into your UlforceVeedramon from BT11. All the while, you want to play as many blue Tamers as you can. You'll get a free one off of the UlforceVeedramon, and then that way you're able to delete as high a level as possible. So on the base, you get to delete a level 3. But every blue tamer you have adds a level to that, so having at least 3 tamers in the field lets you hit a level 6. Having 4 lets you knock out any Digimon on the field. That's it. It's not quite as interesting as the Ulforce Zero loop, but it is a lot more consistent, I think, and it is the main focus of the deck on every version of the deck I've seen. So, alright, and that's pretty much it for the Ulforce deck coming out of BT11. I wouldn't say it's one of the top contending decks, but it is a pretty fun deck to play. And to me, just that little Rina loop is so cool, so fun to play. I know loops can be annoying, but you know it's not a purple deck, so you don't end up with a huge stack of trash and just a non-stop slew of that loop. But it's still pretty cool. So so it's not as annoying as it can be. To me, it's pretty cool. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, usual stuff, subscribe, ring the notification bell, hit the like button for the video. It helps share it around the algorithm. If you want to follow me on anything else that I do, I've got a TikTok channel. I've got a Discord server where you can discuss with different people stuff about deck building. I've got a webcam set up so you can do webcam matches. I host tournaments occasionally. I'd like to start doing them more, but I need more participation in the Discord in order to get these tournaments going. I also have a little RPG game that I'm building in the Discord that's kind of fun to play, so the more you participate, you can kind of raise your Digimon. So if you want to check that out, that'd be awesome. And then if you're looking to support me in a more direct financial way, I do have an Etsy store where I sell Playmats. I have custom metal memory counters like this one here. Boop. So one side's got Agumon, the other side's got Gabumon. They're metal, they're hefty, these are good memory counters. They're not just cheap little acrylic ones. And then I've got these little custom packs that I make. Oh boy, if I had one on hand. I don't have one on hand. Essentially, I'll put a picture up. That's not what I did in the other videos. These packs, they have better pull rates. So they're mixed across different sets, so you're not just getting from one set or another. You can pull cards from, BT1, 2, and 3 all the way up to the newer sets, and nothing less than a rare. So you're guaranteed better pull rates, you're guaranteed like a super rare, and or an alternate art in every pack. But so if you buy like multiple packs, you pretty much are guaranteed to get the same kind of pull rates you get from a box, if not better. And they're mixed across the different sets, so you're not just getting from one set. They're nifty little packs that you could like buy for gifts for friends, or someone who's just getting into the game and wants really good cards but doesn't want to get a bunch of the fluff. Especially, hell, I just thought of this. It makes sense for people who have been in the game and already have a bunch of the fluff, the common, the uncommons, and they've got so many of them like I do with this giant box of commons and uncommons that I never touch. So instead of getting those, you can just buy these packs. They're relatively the same price. I think it's like buying 5 of them is at the same price as buying a box. and you get the same pull rates, if not better, and plus they're mixed, so you're more likely to get really good stuff that you're looking for than just buying more boxes. Anyways, I've rambled on long enough. Thanks for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Peace.